Get ready to push.
Oh,
and we're live. Yeah.
oh, we're live. As I
Oh
was
yeah.
making those sounds into the microphone. That's excellent.
Oh yeah.
That's on me.
Oh
I
yeah.
should have been looking. That was the thrill of the push.
Liberty
Search.
Bibberty.
Dude.
Retweet like easy money.
You know what? I'm not putting Jim Kenny in the doghouse. I'll change it.
Okay.
The Liberty line. Come on, dude. Let's go. Like, retweet. And yeah, I think we're good to
Get ready for some Philly sports talk. Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, and the Birds.
He's an ass. Get him the ball. He's going to make plays.
just shut up and enjoy the greatness.
There's a lot to unpack here.
And it makes you less happy, which is exactly what I want.
Let's do it. 3, 2.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Philadelphia. Welcome back once again to yet another edition of the Wolves of Broad Street podcast. As always, my name is Ryan Conway, and joining me here is my illustrious co-host and wartime consigliere, Sam Glavin. And, of course, we have our incomparable producer behind the glass, Seamus G. Been a couple weeks since we spoke to you last. We observed the holiday last week. Wonderful week to celebrate America before the absolutely, we'll call it an interesting weekend. We'll call it an interesting weekend. Yeah. But we're here mostly to talk about Philly sports. And in that realm, it's been incredibly interesting. The Sixers making moves, although not the biggest ones. They're still moves. James Harden looking to re-sign for less. And the Phils are hot, Sam. Bullpen has been the best in baseball over the last 2 weeks. They're winning games. They're hitting bombs. What's going on with you? What's going on with how you're feeling about the Phils right now? Because we got to open with the Phils. No other.
Yeah, obviously got to open with the Phils. I mean, it's we're actually in the middle of Northern California right now. We just got done at the Oakland Coliseum watching an A's game, which was an experience. Yeah, you're right to gag there for a little bit there. It was a wild experience. I feel like it's just a worse veteran stadium, to be honest. I mean, when you walk into the bed, like this will give you the perfect picture, Ryan, is when you walk into the bathroom, there are no urinals, but a couple troughs, like those old school, like shit, like they definitely had those in the vet. And it's still standing, the Coliseum in 2022, and they haven't done anything to it, which is a damn shame. They should definitely take some dynamite to that place. But it was fun regardless. It was still fun. We were like one of 20 people there too, which was cool. But yeah, not here. You can check it out on @Glav Insanity on TikTok. It's pretty fun over there.
How are the just real quick? How are the lines for concessions?
The lines,
the lines for concessions.
They were pristine. Like I didn't have to wait to get anything. It was perfect. I didn't have to wait to get anything.
Dude, that's incredible. I was at the game on Sunday, Phillies game. Fucking sellout crowd.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know you went. That's cool.
It was fun. I had a buddy come visit, and we went to the game, and we got a beer, sat down, and we looked around, saw how packed the place was, and we didn't move for 9 innings. We just sat right there.
That's the way you do it right there.
I mean,
obviously you want to get more beers, but
yeah. I would have liked to have more beers, but that just kind of allowed me to celebrate the win in a more like competent fashion,
Yeah,
because
that's very cool.
Because that win was like so many wins recently, Sam, just kind of stress-free almost.
Oh,
especially on 4-0
at the one with that's what I was gonna say. That was good.
Great to see Wheeler pitch live, honestly.
Yeah,
it was really nice.
He's solid, man. And you know what? Like for whatever reason, the Phillies will whenever he pitches well, the offense seems to come alive, but then it's the exact opposite for Aaron Nola, like for whatever reason. I think it's just because he's the homegrown guy and they're like, fuck this guy. But it's obviously not, but that's how it seems most of the time. And apparently it's still June, since Schwarber off to another multi home run game as we speak right now. Who knows?
June 36th
in that game. Yeah, it's June 36th.
The day Kyle Schwarber, he now is what, 26, 27 home runs.
Yes, he's been hot.
I mean, this is
hot.
Everyone was like, why isn't Kyle Schwarber hitting home runs in April and May? And I was like, because it's not warm out. When it's warm out, he's going to start hitting home runs. And now it's hot as hell, and he's belting baseballs over the fence. Rhys Hoskins is chipping in. And they're doing all this without Bryce Harper.
Which is big.
Nuts.
I mean,
nuts.
It's so huge. And I thought that originally we were going to need, obviously we still need Castellanos to step up, but I thought if this lineup was going to succeed, he would need to do a lot more than he's been doing in the past. But that guy's been Kyle Schwarber so far. I mean, he has been absolutely incredible. I don't know what his batting average is actually up to right now. I'm sure it's not like, if you look at it on paper, not great, just because he walks so much and then like most of his hits are home runs, and he's got a lot of those. So I don't know. I'm really liking Kyle Schwarber. I saw, did you see before we got on the show? I don't know if you caught it, but Luke Arcani tweeted out, he's like, yeah, man, Kyle Schwarber might fuck around and win MVP. I'm like, all right, let's put the brakes on.
Yeah.
Let's
I don't know about
for a sec.
I don't know. He is batting .219.
Yeah, which is terrible, but at the same time, he's been a great player.
His OPS is 853.
Yeah, which is just ridiculous. I mean, and he's our leadoff hitter, right?
That should not be that's an unreal stat line. Batting .219 with an OPS of 853. That's disgusting. That should not be.
I think Kyle Schwarber is like one of those guys where you don't need to look at his average. Like, you don't want to look at his average. You should just look at the OPS to see how productive he is, because he walks a ton, which bumps up the on-base percentage, and he hits extra base hits all the time. So, I mean, you hardly ever see Kyle Schwarber just hit like a dinky little single up the middle, which is nice. That. No, you just don't, which is kind of crazy that he's our leadoff hitter. But I don't want to move him because he's a
different kind of leadoff hitter, Sam. He's because he's just like, go ahead and walk him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, or he'll just hit a bomb or nothing happens. Yep. That's the Kyle Schwarber is the three true outcomes king right now.
That's good.
He's like, I will strike out or I will hit a home run or I will walk. Yeah. That's all I need. And he's doing it perfectly because he's got the guys behind him driving him in. Honestly, dude, you know who I've been happy with just over a very small stretch of time?
Please tell me.
JT Realmuto.
Yes.
Not blown away, not losing my gourd or anything, but
he's stepped up.
He's moving and grooving a little bit. He's finding his bearings. I don't know what the holdup's been with him. I mean, that's just baseball, I guess.
Yeah, it's baseball, and he's getting a little bit up there in age, a little long in the tooth, as you like to say. I think it's those stretches get a little those weak stretches get a little bit longer once you get a little bit longer in the tooth there. But he's fine. Like, he'll be all right. He's always been like a solid 5-hole guy. Does he ground into a couple more double plays than he'd like? Yes. Fully, for sure. But the other thing that I was talking about is at the bottom of the lineup, or that I was going to talk about, the bottom of the lineup has been really good for the Phillies the last couple of series. And you know what? That's also propelled Kyle Schwarber, because when you get the couple of guys in the bottom of the lineup on base, that allows Kyle Schwarber to do his thing when he gets up back to the top of the order. And I think Rob Thompson recognized that and just is keeping him there. As long as the lineup is meshing together really well and being cohesive, that's always been a problem for the Phillies in the past, is that the lineup is like either the top of the lineup is super hot and then nobody else hits, or then the bottom of the lineup is super hot and then the top of the lineup stinks. Right now, they're in like this perfect medium where they're just driving in runs, bottom of the lineup's getting on base, and the top of the order is just mashing baseballs. It's been a great cycle. It's been amazing.
Circle of life.
Yes, the circle of life, as they say in the
circle of
Lion
bombs.
King. Yeah, I love
circle of absolute nukes.
It's been a lot of fun.
I gotta say, man, Rob Thompson. Look, man. How much has really changed with the bullpen personnel versus what's changed with their results recently? Like, has there really been that much? I know they got rid of a few stinkers, but outside of it was a very underwhelming bullpen under Girardi, and it just seemed like guys could never really find their spots. And it seems like both in the bullpen and in the lineup, he's just putting guys where they need to be in the situations they need to be in, and that's so important. Is that wrong?
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, you don't have Urias Familia coming in a 1-run game anymore, right? Like you have him coming in like 6-7 run leads, which is exactly what you needed. And Girardi, for some reason, just could not wrap his tiny brain around that. He was putting in Familia in these crazy tough situations, and he's basically setting up the bullpen for failure. I mean, was he trying to make a statement, telling him like, "Hey, let me get some more bullpen guys because that's how I won my World Series in 2009." Yeah, but that's not. You don't want to do that, in especially at this time when you're trying to fight for a wild card spot, because you sure as hell aren't winning the NL East right now at the Mets, at the rate that they're going right now, and you just have to focus on catching up to the Braves, and so you got to put guys in that are going to get outs, right? So Sir Anthony Dominguez has to be the closer. Knebel's been a little bit better recently. Knebel is like the one exception to this rule, where it's like you have to just kind of keep putting him in. These like when he was struggling, you kind of just had to still, and and Thompson recognized that he's like, all right, I really still just got to put this guy in there and get these out so that he gets comfortable in either the setup or the closer role. But honestly, like it's all about setting guys up for success, and that's what Rob Thompson's been doing so far, and I've been loving it. Right, like, even Nick Nelson right now is coming in and closing the deal with like he's kind of like a guy. If you have like a 4 or 5 run lead, you can throw him in there, eat up some innings, and then you go to your next guy, which has been good. And for some reason, Girardi didn't recognize that. So I'm all in on the moves that Rob Thompson's been making. I've been loving it. It's been great.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we're in a playoff spot right now, right? Or is that correct?
Are we now? I don't know if we are yet.
I thought
yes,
I saw
we are
Jack
now.
Fritz tweeted that because he said, "Good morning. The Phillies are now in a playoff spot." I love his tweets because he just like says things that are true, and then they bang like every time.
He's actually been he's been like a big fan of ours. Actually, he reached out a couple of times, like, "Yo, like let me get you on the show, like talk about the trip a little bit," which has been pretty cool. We haven't lined up a time yet, just because he doesn't know like when he hosts and stuff. And the last 2 times that he reached out, we're in like the middle of nowhere in the desert or something that, where we got no service, and I didn't see it until like the day after. But no, Fritz is great. I mean, he's always been knowledgeable about the Phillies, and he's a good follow too on everything Phillies related. But yeah, Phillies are in a wild card spot right now, which is pretty cool. That series against the Cardinals was huge, I tell you. So it's a lot of fun. Hopefully they can keep it up. I mean, obviously it's the Phillies, so they're gonna hit another dry spell at some point. As soon as Kyle Schwarber starts to cool down, and everybody the energy goes in the toilet, we'll start to get antsy again. But right now we're sitting pretty, man. I mean, because you put this team in a wild card spot, and it's only 1 game, right? So anything can happen, right?
Phils can win a game.
Yeah, they can win a single game.
They can win
a
game. Yeah, this team can beat anybody once.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. They can even beat the Mets once if they really put their minds to it. It's just it's annoying, but we are where we are, and you know what? I have to attribute where we are to Joe Girardi, because he was such a freaking bozo with some of the decisions he was making early on in the season and got us in this hole. Now Rob Thompson's trying to dig us out, and he's doing a phenomenal job. I mean, he's been great. He's been real great. I'm very curious to see what his record is right now as manager. It's got to be well above 500. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, the Phils are sitting 5 above 500 right now, just on the season. And they were what, 8 games under? Something like that. when they made the switch. And yeah, I mean, they got that one win under Girardi and then went on just a rip. Just went on an absolute tear.
Oh yeah.
I said rip, went on a rip. It's
Oh,
clearly a tear. Yeah, went on an
tear,
absolute tear.
Rip,
Tear. We're third in the NL East. We're in a wild card spot, and nothing matters. Nothing else matters. Let's just see if we can keep this up. If we can hang around the wild card spot, just 2 games, we can hang around that with Bryce Harper coming back in a month and a half or so, and he comes back and he can still give us at least something, because we know if we're getting a little something from Bryce Harper, that's still a shitload. Even if he can only give even if he's so severely limited in what he can give, the results are still going to be there. So if we can keep it all together the way we're doing now, it's going to be scary innings after the All-Star break.
Exactly. I mean, this is going to sound a little stupid, but it's got to be said. If they can just sit right here, 5 games above, and then maybe even go up like a couple of games, maybe get up to like 7 or 8 games above 500, then I mean, you can obviously lose a couple here and there, but if you can just keep focusing on each series and stuff, wait till Bryce Harper gets back, then you'll be sitting pretty for the playoffs.
Yeah,
it's quite obvious, but you know what? You got to stay neck above water right now without your star player. And then when he comes back 6 weeks or 5 weeks, I guess, from now, right? Hopefully, if all goes well, then you know what? They'll be ready for the playoffs. And if this bullpen keeps going, and if Rob Thompson keeps putting in guys to set up for success in the spots that they need to be going in, we're gonna be just fine, man. We're gonna be just fine. And then you never know what management does, trade wise or by the trade deadline and stuff. Hopefully, they can pick up a couple more arms. Maybe bring up a prospect or two, maybe
we gotta get some prospects in the mix, man. Get some prospects in the mix. Like these guys are fucking beasts.
Yeah, I mean, you got Painter and you got Mickable and
dude, incredible pitcher name.
It's Painter. Just the best, isn't it? Like it's just perfect.
Are you kidding me?
Social media team is going to have a field day with that guy when he comes up. I mean, it's just going to be awesome. I can't wait.
That's like cool. That's up there with like I think it was Whitney Merciless was a linebacker, and he was merciless. Sure. Yeah, and that's up there in terms of name correlating to position.
Yeah, player. I mean, that's great.
Pretty much, it's a beautiful sight to see.
Seamus G just pulled the stats for us. Rob Thompson is 20-8 as manager of the Philadelphia Phillies, which is quite phenomenal.
Yeah, man.
That's
pretty great.
Cool. Yeah,
pretty great. And it's not like the team changed all that much. It's not like the personnel switched up very much at all. So, man, is people are like, look, there's decisions, but that Girardi made that were bad, and I hate to dogpile on this guy like months after he's been fired, but like, you could tell the vibes were shot. You could tell the vibes were shot. And then now they got Thompson in the mix. It's clearly a lot better. Now, what does he have to do to keep? What does he have to do to keep this job? Because he was just hired as the interim head coach, right?
Yeah, I mean, if he takes this team to a wild card spot, I mean, I don't see how you don't hire him for another season, right?
Right?
Yeah, I just don't see it. I mean, you might as well just make a new contract for him and just be like, hey, like, you want to just keep doing what you're doing, and then he'll probably just be like, yeah, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah,
that's just
probably
the kind of guy he is, He's like, yeah, I guess I'll do it. Like, why not? But it's just such a simple. It was such a simple fix. And he said it in all of his press conferences that he's been saying. He's like, yeah, I just figured I'd give the young guys a shot. I mean, see what happens. I mean, we got nothing to lose at this point, right? I mean, that's basically what he was saying. And then he put the right guys in the right situations I say it over and over again, but he's putting the right guys in the bullpen in their right situations. And look what happens. I mean, we've been saying it from the jump. Like, Uris Familia should not be going in a 2-run ball game. Just can't happen. Like, and I haven't seen him in there since. So, like, it's not hard to figure out. I mean, you look at the guy and see how he struggled with Girardi, going into these 1-run situations with the bases loaded, and we're like, all right, yeah, let's put the wildest guy we have in the bullpen in these situations. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Look, I'm not gonna say that anybody can do this job, but like,
But he's
come
keeping it simple.
on, there are aspects to these things that are simple,
Yeah.
that we have empirical data to draw from. Not anything analytics, but just more qualitative. Just like this, when this happens, a bad thing happens. And I think we learn that pretty quick as people. And it boggles the mind when coaches in any sport just continue to do things that don't work.
It is. Isn't that the definition of insanity? Trying the
Mhm.
same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result.
I
That
wouldn't
was
call
Girardi.
Girardi insane though,
Well, I
because
would.
he lacks a certain like fire that I think an insane person would have.
Yeah,
You know,
I
like
agree.
he'd be the most like what's the fucking word? Like he'd have the most malaise about him for an insane person.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I mean, it's just Rob. The biggest thing that Rob Thompson has been doing so far has just been keeping it simple, right? And he's just letting his coaches do the work, right? He's going in and he's just saying, you know what, like we're just gonna take it one game at a time, and then you turn that into, all right, we're gonna take this one series at a time. Now that we're a couple games above 500, we got a playoff spot to hold on to. That's it. I mean, you just got to take it from the point that he was at with like 8 games under 500 that he was left with, that dumpster fire that he was given to try and shape it up. He's like, you know what? At this point, like, I got nothing to lose. I'm the interim manager, right? Like, I can just only use the power that I have. We're gonna just go out there. I'm gonna win this game. All right, we just win that game, win the next game. Oh shit, we're on a 10-game win streak. Sounds good. Let's just keep it going. I mean, now you take it a series at a time instead. Like it was a pretty simple formula for the guy. I mean, if you just look at him, like his roster photo, right? I mean, it's just one hilarious. He just looks like he's from Upper Darby, like it's hilarious. And then he's like, yeah, I mean, I guess just I saw the tweet. Do you remember the tweet from, I think it was like Barstool Philly or something? It's like, this is the guy that opens up the door for you and holds the door at Wawa and then flips you off in the parking lot. Like it's just so perfect.
Exactly
Yeah.
right.
Loving what he's doing. He's just taking it one game at a time.
Dude, speaking of Wawa, I had a great interaction in Wawa today.
Oh yeah. Let's
I'm
hear
rocking this Ben Simmons John available on deliveryline.com.
You should burn that.
But I have his eye blacked out like it's a CIA photo. like he's a wanted man or something like that. And she was like, I love that shirt. And I was like, it's like this old woman behind the counter. Well, not that old, but you know, an older and much older woman than me. Was like, I love that shirt. I'm like, thank you. Like that means the world. Like, wow. And I left Wawa floating on a cloud. Like I was just like,
that's great.
Wow. I don't feel ashamed of eating breakfast in my car this morning. I feel totally great about that. I feel amazing.
Oh, Ryan, I miss Wawa so damn much. So I couldn't be further from a Wawa right now, actually.
That's probably true. You would have to leave the country. You would have to go to Japan
I would have to like
leave.
To get any further, I would have to like leave the actual country. But like in terms of like possibility and stuff and whatnot, we just couldn't be further from Wawa. You know what? Yeah, Seamus makes a good point. We are actually on our way to Seattle, so I guess I could get a little bit further from a Wawa.
Could easily.
If we're talking about Seattle, so
easily could. Yeah. Unless they got one in Vancouver.
I don't think they do.
They probably
don't think they do.
I wouldn't want them
hear
to
some
have
kind of plans. Yeah, I thought they were like trying to extend it to like the West Coast, or at least get a little bit west, because right now they are strictly east.
I did hear something about Wawa.
Wasn't that on the Liberty line?
Expanding into Sheets' territory.
Yeah, that a couple years too late for me, because I was in Sheets territory for fucking 4 years and hating life.
Dude, look, man, I'm a Wawa guy.
Yeah,
I live, breathe, Wawa. Sheets is fucking good, man. They got some good shit in
Sheets
there.
is good. No,
They
you're
got some
right.
good shit. They got the spicy Funyuns sometimes, and I've only
Yeah.
ever seen those in the Sheets. I've never actually gotten them.
Mm-hmm.
I get little
Yeah,
mac and
you know
cheese
what?
bites on a burger like a little boy. It's incredible. Like, can I not
Yeah,
live a little?
no, you're so right. I mean, did I go to Sheets as much as I would have Wawa if I was in the right place? Yes,
Yeah.
fully did, because the app sampler, as James is chiming in right now, was my bread and butter from Sheets. Like when I was living out there in beautiful Carlisle, Pennsylvania, app sampler was dope, and you could get these like little like bacon and fried chicken like sliders with like the jalapeno ranch, which was really good. And they don't have that at Wawa. But you know what? I mean, obviously, I will live and die for Wawa. But I think you're right. I think it's okay to say, yeah, I went to Sheets like a bunch when I
Sue
was living out there. Yeah, it's good.
Sue me. What can you do me? You know,
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's
I
all you
love you.
could do.
And with that, Sam, we're gonna go into the doghouse. I think probably brought to you by Wide Plank Floor
Yeah, we can do
Supply.
that.
Dude, I still haven't gotten over the fact that I messed up the ad read last week. My first time in 100 episodes.
I know.
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't think about it until now, but you just brought that back up, and I can't believe it either. So
I think about it every day. So hopefully this can redeem me. This doghouse is brought to you by Wide Plank Floor Supply. Visit their website at www.wideplankfloorsupply.com. Get a recommendation for a contractor. Get a quote. Wide Plank Floor Supply. If it's wide, they've got it. Sam Glavin in the van. Van
the van.
Glavin. Who
Yep.
you got in the doghouse?
I'm gonna go ahead and put California in the doghouse because there should just be absolutely no reason as to why, as soon as I cross the state line from Arizona right over into California, that the gas prices go up $1.50. I just drove across a line, an imaginary line I drove across, and have to pay $1.50 extra for some diesel to fill up our van right here. Alice, she's been great to us. She's kind of hobbling along a little bit right now, but we have the All-Star break coming up. But yeah, anyways, I mean, it's absolutely atrocious that I have to pay $6.50 for some gas or for some diesel, when in Arizona and of the other states it was still astronomical, but it was like $5 for diesel. Maybe a little over $5, but it's crazy.
You know why you got to pay extra, Sam? It's for all those taxes that go to the good people of California. That goes to taking care of them. Your $1.50 extra is helping. I mean, look at how they spend the money to help the homeless. You're going to help those efforts directly.
Yeah, you're right. And you know what?
All of the people they're housing
really
in California.
It really showed coming from Oakland, California. I mean, that place is just an absolute oasis. I mean, it's just it's so really fucking nice there.
It's just
And
incredible.
I'm just so glad I could help out Oakland and stuff. San Diego's got it figured out. Seamus is right. I loved San Diego. That was a really nice city. But LA, not so much. And definitely not Oakland. I mean, I've yet to see San Francisco. That's on the way back from it's on the way back from Seattle.
San Francisco's cool. I went there when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool, like riding around in the trolleys and shit up and down the hills. But now that all just seems tedious to me.
Yeah, and you know
Golden Gate Bridge was sick.
Yeah, and you know what? I completely forgot about the Golden Gate Bridge until I saw it on a map the other day. I was like, oh yeah, we're going towards that big ass thing, which is pretty cool. We haven't seen it yet, but on the way back, we'll be hitting the Golden Gate Bridge for sure, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be
Golden
tight.
Gate Bridge. It's a big bridge. I love bridges. Bridges are
Dude, when I was a kid, I used to play this bridge building game all the time on the internet. And then you would have to like build a bridge, and you have a budget, and you have to pick your materials, and then like they test it, and then I was a fucking kid and an idiot, so every time the truck would just.
That's funny.
Unless
I had
went
to do
way over budget,
like a project. Yeah, I had to do like a when I was in geometry freshman year of high school. I had to make a bridge out of like a suspension bridge out of popsicle sticks.
Yeah, dude.
And it did
Yeah.
not go well for me. I mean, basically anything in high school that didn't have to do with writing essays, I was pretty abysmal at, and this was no different. I my buddy Chandler Gavin, who actually works at Wide Plank Floor Supply now, which is kind of crazy. He built the best bridge, and he grew up in construction like his whole life. So I was like, you know what, fuck you, dude. Like I'm better.
Yeah,
I'm
fuck
better than you
that
at every
guy.
other subject. So
That's like a kid from Mexico who just moved to the neighborhood taking intro Spanish. Like,
exactly.
you may not
That's
know
exactly
about the
right.
other stuff, but this definitely doesn't seem fair. This one,
Yeah, and he
particular
didn't
thing.
even want to be my partner. He was like, "Yo," like he was like, "Yeah, like I gotta help out this kid. Like he's gonna fail if I don't take it." I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna fail if I don't if you're not my partner. Like I know you're good at this shit."
Yeah,
I didn't
come on,
fail,
bro.
but it wasn't great. I think I got like a B or something.
Dude, James and I built a magic pump we had for our engineering final project. It was truly
That's
something
cool.
incredible. It was a bucket with a hole in it and a toilet plunger, and it just moved water like that. You just kind of sealed it up. And everyone was pissed because they made like an actual pump. But we did that on like the first day of class and or the first day of the project, and just didn't do anything for the rest of the time. We had like 2 weeks to work on it.
And Seamus is telling me that you guys were the best. You guys won. Like you guys.
We did win because it was literally you just move it. Now I don't think we were crowned champions because they didn't appreciate our tomfoolery, and B, they made up some dumb rule that you're not allowed to touch the pump, which makes no sense because I'm like, you have to pump it.
It's a pump.
It's a
Pumping
pump.
is a
They're like-
verb.
They're like, well, you can't touch the plastic. I'm like, it's a pump. Like, I'll touch whatever I fucking want on my pump. Like,
You gotta touch something on the pump, whether it's like a switch or like something. Like
exactly.
You can't just.
So yeah,
like,
we won.
use your brain.
Actually, some kids, they won't be named because they're douchebags. Try to copy our design last minute and failed miserably. And I'm like, how do you idiots fail to do the easiest thing possible? I remember the last day we had to work on our project. It was my birthday. James and I were like, hey, can we just leave? Can we just leave? And she said, our teacher said yes. She said yes. Yep. And we went to the tinderbox, smoked a couple cigars, came back. Quality 18th birthday.
Oh man, that's great. I love that.
Oh.
Well, Ryan, who the hell do you have in your doghouse? Because we
Good. Oh yes,
yeah.
the doghouse brought to you by Wide Plank Floor Supply.
Try and
hallmark
segue that
segment of the Wolves of Broad Street podcast. Yeah, I've got a summer league hype in the doghouse. The fans that partake in it, like, look, I'm just gonna open up my phone right now. Totally haven't planned this out. All right, and I'm gonna type in Jaden Springer.
Sure.
I'm gonna type in Jaden Springer, and I'm just gonna see what
This is
comes
a
up.
social experiment.
We have so many 25 minutes ago. We have so many potential 3-and-D players on the roster. It's insane. I say Isaiah Joe, Trevlin Queen, Charlie Brown Jr., Jaden Springer, and then they censored out Matisse Thybulle. 2 of those guys are good. All right, like 2 of those guys.
Yeah,
are good.
I was gonna say 2. I've only ever heard of 2 of them, which is like,
and it's been the Jaden Springer hype train that has just been annoying. They're saying like he's just as athletic as Matisse Thybulle and can do everything that he can do and shoot. I was like, I don't know about that. And now also I take it out to a national scale. Chet Holmgren.
no.
Oh my God. So this guy, he has a very
Yeah,
solid summer league debut. It's hilarious. And this is on Bleacher Report. This is on. Oh no, did they delete it? No, they didn't. Chet flashing rookie of the year potential. BR featured.
Oh, yeah.
I scroll up just a little more. Where is it? Free agents. Lofton Jr. bullying Chet. Undrafted free agent. is bullying Chet Holmgren in the post all night long the very next night. Life comes
Ryan, I
at you
think
fast.
bully.
Life comes at you
I think
fast.
you could bully Chet Holmgren in the
I
post.
would
If I'm being
own
fully
him. I would
honest.
back him down like Charles Barkley.
Dude, I mean, he's a toothpick. He's a toothpick. I mean, we talked about it last draft episode, right? Like, I don't see him going anywhere unless he puts on an incredible amount of weight like Giannis did. I mean, Giannis was like, I don't think Giannis was as skinny as he was when he came into the league, but he's got to do like some kind of transformation like Giannis did, because right now that guy's a freak, obviously. But I mean,
absolutely.
Chet Holmgren is going nowhere without putting on some goddamn weight. I mean, it's just it's got to happen. It's got to happen. And I don't see. And then he's tweeting out like you see that shit like when first of all when he got drafted, like, oh, like who's the best player in the NBA? He's like, me. When I join a team.
And like me in 3 days.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Like, okay.
Like, I get it. Whatever. Like, screw that.
That's
like,
stupid. Dude,
and then he tweeted out. I'm all for people getting excited about, their young players. I'm all for people being invested in the development of their rookies and G League guys. But at the same time, let's pump the brakes a little. It's summer league. We're watching rec league basketball. Obviously, look, I couldn't go out there and run with these guys. But this is not the highest level of basketball in the land by any stretch. I mean, you take a look at James G's holy fuck, right as I was thinking, it pops up. Ben Simmons Summer League highlights. Holy shit. That was the best version of Ben Simmons we've ever seen, at least from an offensive perspective. Obviously, his defense improved and is very good. But we were sold on that little turnaround jumper, those silky finishes around the rim. And then look what we got when the lights got bright. I mean, obviously, slightly different. He could be seen as an anomaly. I don't know. But everyone needs to pump the brakes on the Summer League. Enjoy it for what it is. Enjoy it as exhibition basketball. Enjoy it as guys trying to make a name for themselves. And those that do get rewarded. Those that don't. So such is life. But this Chet Rookie of the Year after one game, okay.
No.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see.
No.
This Jaden Springer, 7th man in the rotation. Okay. All right. We'll see. We'll definitely see about that. But
I can't stand NBA Twitter. Can't do it.
People saying these things and look, I get it. You want to support the team. But Sixers fans in particular are still so obsessed with that latching on to the obscure player era from the process.
Yes.
They're still obsessed with that. And I don't know why. They think it makes them like a deeper level of fan or hey, I care about these guys. Hey, look, I care about them too. But they're not the key. They're not the key. At least not right now. They're not the key.
Yeah.
And you're not going to know if they are based on watching this. You're not. So everybody has to pump the brakes. Let the Summer League hype die down a little bit. And we'll see what happens. We got preseason games. We have full 82 games to judge these guys.
Oh, yeah.
If they're good enough, they'll play. We'll see what happens.
I mean, here's the thing. And the other thing is, stay off Twitter. If you're a guy from the Summer League, right, and you have a couple of good games, just keep doing what you're doing. Stay off Twitter. Don't say anything stupid. Just because everybody's going to be taking screenshots, and then it'll be on Freezing Cold Takes a couple months later when you go 0 for 20 from the field and score no points and foul out in 10 minutes because you're too weak at Chet Holmgren. Did you see that tweet that he put out? He was I think it was it was just LOL, after his first game, saying oh my god, I had such a good game. And stay off Twitter. Go hit the weight room.
Lame.
For every minute you're on Twitter, go do a couple push-ups.
Lame.
That's just stay off Twitter. I hate it. I hate it. Nobody does it more than the NBA not even stars. Nobody is on Twitter more than NBA players, and I hate it.
Yeah,
so much.
Dude, I'm seeing people say they remind him of the young KD, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, stop it!
I'm like, okay, guys,
stop. Just because he's skinny and he's got a jumper, that's it.
Yeah, I looked like a young KD at one point in my life. We all did.
Yeah.
And that's going to do it for the Doghouse, brought to you by Wide Plank Floor Supply. Visit their website at www.wideplankfloorsupply.com. Get a recommendation for a contractor, get a quote. Wide Plank Floor Supply. If it's wide, they've got it. Visit their showroom out in King of Prussia, warehouse. You got the whole situation. All the supplies you need. They'll get you set up with someone that can do the job. Do it right. Look, they're not going to be giving you some shoddy contractors. I don't think so. I don't think they stand for that.
No.
I don't think they stand for that. That's not the kind of operation there is. This isn't some fly-by-night operation, all right? This is a quality product available to you in the Philadelphia area. Go and get it.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of my favorite thoughts. I take a look at the planks on my floor and I go, could be wider.
Could be wider, right?
Could be wider.
And I'm living in a van right now and we got no planks, so imagine how I'm feeling.
Terrible. Can't be feeling good.
Just horrible. I need to see some planks. I haven't seen planks in a long time. A long time.
Well, we'll have to go ahead and rectify that. But first, Sam, we're going to just talk a little bit about the Sixers. We don't have to do much. Just kind of recap the moves. I want to kind of walk back my disappointment in the DeAnthony Melton move. A little bit. And then also, some free agent signings. James Harden taking less than the max, negotiating over champagne in the Hamptons with Michael Rubin, whose girlfriend face planted. I don't know if you saw that.
I did, actually. That was kind of funny.
That was hilarious. Again, if you have footage, if you're watching this, and I know you are, and you have the footage of that happening, you can email me at ryan@thelibertyline.com. And if not, we can use an encrypted messaging service. I know of many because I am a journalist. So, but outside of that, Sam, DeAnthony Melton's actually pretty good. He's not like fucking crazy or anything. Wasn't the fireworks we hoped for, but he's pretty good. Right?
I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in. It's fine.
Then we go ahead. We get PJ Tucker, $10 million a year. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Keep in mind, I met his agent with Drew in Miami in the airport.
Yeah.
On the way to that playoff game. I'm about to shoot him a DM and be like, you dog, how'd you get him $10 million?
Yeah, right? It's like a little over.
I mean, the guy, he was a cool guy. I mean, he seemed pretty slick. I'm like, I see how this guy gets people paid. So we get him, we get Dan Wellhouse Jr., who I actually do want to get your opinion on this, Sam. He's wearing number 25. In or out?
Is he really? I mean,
in or out?
You know what?
Role player. This isn't a big star wearing. This is a role player wearing 25.
If it's a role player, I think I'm okay with it. But if obviously if somebody switched to number 25, if we had gotten say we signed Bradley Beal, right? And then he just decided to wear 25. I'm like, oh my God, he's just going to be terrible. No. I mean, it's kind of like Nick Castellanos moving in to Ben Simmons' house, and look where he's at now. Like that, because he's like a star caliber player, and he's kind of mooching off the bad juju that Ben Simmons left behind. So I kind of feel like that's the same thing. But as long as it's a role player, I think it's fine. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's no big deal. It was, and I do want to tell you this story off air. I don't want to divulge any secrets here that could get anybody in trouble. But I don't know if you saw, Drew kind of had a few things on the timeline predicting free agent signings, and we got a few of them right.
I did see that. I saw a couple of them, it was just impressive. I was like, okay, so you got the first one right. He's like, oh damn, he got another one right. And I'm like, oh shit, he got a third one right.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Man.
I mean,
so,
and then he finally got one wrong, and somebody signed with somebody else, and I was like, oh, all right.
Otto Porter Jr. signed somewhere else.
Yeah,
and Andre Drummond, we thought might be coming back. Unfortunately, he signed elsewhere.
Did you want him?
Yeah, dude, backup Drummond.
Yeah.
Dude, he was the best backup big. He had 5 20-plus rebound games as a Sixer.
You know what? You're so right. And for whatever reason, if you remember my blunders from back when the Sixers were in season, I would always get DeAndre Jordan and Andre Drummond mixed up. multiple times.
You
So
were
that's
just now thinking
exactly who I was
about.
thinking of.
Yep.
I was-
No, yeah, DeAndre Jordan's gone. Yeah,
Yep,
the
he's
ghost of DeAndre Jordan now resides in Denver.
Perfect.
He'll be haunting Ball Arena
I hate Denver.
for a season. Not a fan of Denver.
No, I'm not a fan of Denver at all. I mean, you know what? So here's the thing. Like Denver, sports aside, right? It's a very nice little town. You know, the Coors Field is great. Ryan, you would love Coors Field.
I bet I would.
Yes, you would. And the amount of breweries right outside the stadium they're just great. Seamus and I went to the first brewery ever in Colorado, right down the street from the stadium, which was pretty cool. It was Winecoat, something like that. And then you know what? We come back from the stadium, and our e-bikes are just gone. They were stolen right outside the stadium, like a block away from the stadium. They were stolen. We locked them up real good, and then I was like, you know what? Like, I can't find the locks anywhere. Obviously, the bikes are nowhere to be found. I look in the trash, and the locks are snapped with the bolt cutter, and pull it out of the trash, and they're completely snapped. So, not a huge fan of Denver.
That's what happens with legal recreational marijuana, Sam.
Yeah,
You know, I always knew that was a bad idea. I always knew that.
Anyways, Denver stinks.
I called that from the jump.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I told him. I sat down with Hickenlooper. I was like, buddy, you're making a huge mistake. I said, no, Ryan, I really like it. I really think it's a good move. I'm like, okay.
I always think of that John Mulaney skit where it's like, I can't believe that like people just convinced, you know, the government in like these states be like, yeah, legalizing marijuana is gonna be fine. Like it's just something we really wanted, and they were like, you know what, fine. Like it's just,
they were literally like, fine,
yeah,
whatever.
Which is hilarious. But anyways,
So
I don't
funny.
think that's the reason our bikes got stolen. All jokes aside, just the people of Denver suck. And they always think that they have MVPs when they don't, and they steal bikes, and it's
They're
a
bike
whole thing.
stealing, MVP hating shows.
Yep.
That's a shame. It's a real shame. It's a real shame.
Because otherwise, it's a great city. You know,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Now, Sam, last thing I want to talk about before we close out the Sixers, and I don't know if Seamus has a poem prepared. I don't know what lies ahead after we wrap up the Sixers. But that's more than fine. Life goes on, you know. But what the fuck was I going to say? Oh yeah, Kevin Durant once out of Brooklyn. Kyrie Irving probably out of Brooklyn. Ben Simmons all alone. This is the funniest thing in the world. But before we dance on Brooklyn's grave, I want to loot it. I want to loot Brooklyn's grave. I want to.
Yes.
I want to grave rob Brooklyn because I need Kevin Durant on this basketball team. Sorry, Tyrese. Sorry, anybody that literally I care about nobody but Joel Embiid. Like, just take him. I don't care. Get Kevin Durant on this team. We'll roll out 2 guys. Probably still win 40 games. You know?
Yeah. Why not? Right? I mean, people keep asking, like, the big thing when all that broke, right, is like, oh, would you give up Tyrese Maxey for Kevin Durant? I'm like, yeah, like, how is this even a question? Absolutely, I would. Like, oh, Kevin Durant's getting old. Doesn't matter. Jump shots don't get old.
That's true. That's true, dude.
It doesn't. You see all these 90-year-olds on the foul line on Twitter and stuff, and they're still making jumpers. You know, like it's insane. Even more more than Ben Simmons when he's like 100 years older. Anyways, you got to give up whatever you can to get Kevin Durant on this basketball team because he takes you to a title. That's exactly what he does. Him and Joel Embiid, like, you can't guard. I'm assuming James Harden wouldn't be a part of that deal because you can't send him back to Brooklyn. I mean, after that whole fiasco, after he was completely unhappy there, like, he would just refuse that trade. And so you have James Harden, you have Kevin Durant, and you have Joel Embiid. We could throw Seamus G and you out there, and we would win a title. You know, like,
I would be the Kevon Looney of that. I would give my all in the 5 minutes that I would get. I would really.
It's great. It would be like that Steve Kerr thing where it's like, yeah, just give the ball one of those three, and then you two just get the fuck out of the way. You know,
Yeah.
that's
It
that's just
makes
how you do it.
sense.
You can set a screen here and there, but no. In all seriousness, whatever you can to get KD in a Sixers uniform to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I mean, he already owns a part of the union, right? I mean, this is a business. This is just going to be a good business decision for him. He doesn't have to hop on a Zoom call anymore to go to those meetings. He can just drive right down to Chester and just do it there. You know,
Just kick it.
it's just easy.
Kick it. And
It just makes too much sense. I mean, he's already got business qualities down there. I mean, you might as well make your number one business decision and just join the Philadelphia 76ers. So why the hell not?
Yeah, dude.
Right? It's too easy.
I'm with you there, dude. Beer Can Brain shares his thought that I have, and I think that you have as well. The Tyrese Maxey should be a part of that deal if need be, right?
Yeah.
I think everyone knows that. Did you see that video of the kid crying?
Yeah, I did.
You saw
I
Tyrese
hate it
in a
when
jersey.
parents do that.
Dude, what the fuck? Run the doghouse ticker again.
Yeah, seriously. Like, I hate it.
Doghouse Part 2. Parents posting their kids crying, especially about Philly sports or something like that, to get clout or some
Just to
shit.
get free shit. You know what? Like, how bad of a parent can you be? Like,
Look, I get it if the kid is sick or something, or but if they're just sad, they're just sad. Their favorite player might get traded. Why don't you give them a fucking hug instead of filming them? They're sad because they dropped the foul ball a player tossed to them. Give them a hug. Go get them an ice cream. Don't film it and put it on the internet and expect the Phillies or the Sixers or the player themselves to do something. And I'm just saying,
hug.
Oh, I'm not posting for clout. I'm just posting a tender. No, you are. That's what you're doing. You're doing that because that's what every single post on social media is for other people to see it and comment on it and share it. That's what social media is. I don't care if you say it's something else. I'm like, you literally have followers. They're going to see it. They're going to retweet it. And you want people to see it. Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to us. Stop posting your children crying on the internet. It is the creepiest thing in the world. I don't want to see it anymore. I don't want to see it. Love your children. Hug them. Spend time with them. Get off of Twitter. Jesus Christ, be a parent.
Dude, if my kid is crying about a player leaving the city, I'm not going to give him a hug and be like, dude, like, this is life. This is sports.
Give
this
him a hug and tap him and be like, hey, it's okay.
You know
it's
what?
Okay,
maybe
pal.
I give him like a little pat on the shoulder.
You got to give him a little comfort.
Like,
be like, you know what? The Sixers mean more than Tyrese Maxey. No offense to Tyrese Maxey. But Beer Can Brain fired off a reply to that saying, no offense, but you failed as a father if your son doesn't make that trade. Got 2,200 likes.
It's awesome.
The Beer Can Brain has spoken. And look, Tyrese Maxey's a good kid. He'll go out. He'll fucking get the kid a jersey, get him tickets. Tyrese is going to hook it up because that's the kind of guy Tyrese is. He's got the money to do it, whatever. But the onus shouldn't be on him in a situation like that. And the parent put the onus on him on the team. And it's weird.
Well, then, like, the other thing is, like, he actually does get traded, and then the jersey is, like, meaningless. And then you just have, what's the point? You know? You tell your kid he's going to get traded, then you post on social media, and then Tyrese is like, yeah, I'll hook you up with a jersey. You're like, well, what for? You're getting traded.
If Tyrese Maxey gets traded, I'll get this kid a Tyrese Maxey Brooklyn jersey and a one-way ticket to New York. And I'll drop him off at the train station myself. Be like, you like Tyrese Maxey so much? And then he goes, where's my dad? I go, you don't have one anymore. Child Protective Services took him away.
Ugh.
That's
what should happen. Bad sports fan and a bad parent. Yeah.
Bad fan, bad parent, bad you. And with that, Sam, do your thing. Do your little.
Do my what?
Do the thing that you do at the end of the episode.
Oh, at the end of the episode. Oh, all right. We can
we're
do
done
we
here.
Can do that. Yeah,
we're done.
Okay,
here.
We're done. I didn't realize we were done. That's cool.
We're done here.
Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to this edition of the Wolves of Broad Street podcast. God damn it, the Phillies lost. 3-2.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so brutal. Anyways, I mean, yeah, well, thank you so much for listening to this edition of the Wolves of Broad Street podcast. My name is Sam Glavin. You can follow me at SamGlavin06 on Twitter, and my fellow wartime consigliere, Ryan Conway, at RyanConway76. And, of course, check out the Wolves of Broad Street on all social medias, at Wolves Abroad ST. Check out the LibertyLine.com and at LibertyLine PHL on Twitter. They got some great stuff there. And shout out to our illustrious producer, Seamus G. You can follow him on Twitter at ShamelesslySG. Seamus G, close us down.